Nobody saw this coming. The room was already buzzing, everybody locked in for the next witness. Then, boom, the back doors swing open and in walks Chewy Thompson, Elvis Presley's grandson. Gasps everywhere, even the toughest reporters were shook. Under oath, Chewy dropped a bomb, claiming his grandpa, the king of rock himself, was trapped in a twisted underground world run by Diddy's dad, Melvin Combs. He said Elvis knew Melvin personally, and what he saw at those creepy Freakoff parties wasn't just wild, it crushed his soul. "My name is Chewy Thompson," he started, "and I'm the grandson of Elvis Aaron Presley. I'm here because my grandfather didn't die of addiction. He died of exposure to something he was never supposed to see." His voice had the jury hooked, no convincing needed. Chewy kicked off with a bombshell. Back in the early 70s, Elvis met Melvin Combs, Diddy's dad. Melvin wasn't just some entertainment rando, Chewy said. He was part of the underbelly, moving through music, politics, and organized crime. He was the guy behind the scenes, not in the spotlight. Chewy claimed Melvin and Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis's shady manager, were tight, swapping favors and secrets. Melvin was a broker of shadows, Chewy said, making people, scandals, even whole nights disappear. Somehow Elvis got tangled in it. Chewy said his grandpa told Priscilla about exclusive parties in LA and Miami he was pressured to hit up. "They weren't parties," Chewy quoted Elvis. "They were something cold, something dark." Elvis was in a spiritual tailspin, feeling trapped in a world where power came from flesh, silence, and blackmail. He met Melvin through music, but stayed in his world out of fear. By the time Elvis realized how deep he was, Chewy said, he was too famous to leave and too scared to speak. As Chewy kept going, Diddy, chilling at the defense table, started looking nervous. This wasn't just about him. It was about his dad's legacy. And the sins of the father were stealing the show. Chewy painted Melvin as no hero but a slick operator, juggling CIA contacts and crime networks in the music biz. Melvin knew how to control artists, Chewy said. He wasn't interested in fame, he was interested in leverage. Using private investigator docs and sealed family records, Chewy laid out a creepy pattern. Melvin had stakes in shell properties in California and Florida, tied to gatherings called Red Doors, early versions of Diddy's Freakoffs. And guess who was there? A terrified Elvis Presley. Elvis wasn't a guest, Chewy said. He was an asset, a trophy. His fame made those parties seem legit for other jittery stars, but behind closed doors, he hated every second. Chewy quoted Elvis's letters, begging to escape what he called a hell with chandeliers. He said, Melvin had a smile that never reached his eyes. Chewy read from a journal entry. "I saw a child walk into the room and a man close the door. I couldn't move. I wanted to scream. Melvin just stood there watching, grinning. The courtroom was rattled. Melvin created this world," Chewy said. "Diddy just inherited it. He made it bigger, louder, and even more dangerous." Flipping through Elvis's worn journal, Chewy read entries slow and steady. The jury was floored. "If I leave, they ruin me. If I stay, they own me," Elvis wrote. Melvin said, "The camera is always on, even when you can't see it. I saw things I can't sing about, and I don't think God will forgive me for staying silent." These weren't song lyrics. They were cries for help. Chewy said Elvis was manipulated into attending event after event, each more twisted than the last. "These weren't Hollywood parties," Chewy said. "They were pressure cookers designed to see what and who would break." Elvis was put in compromising spots on purpose, fed pills, liquor, then watched and filmed. Chewy found letters and torn film reels in a hidden Graceland vault labeled with names, some still famous, others long gone. Then came the video. Chewy paused, handed a USB drive to the prosecution, and the lights dimmed. Grainy footage flickered on. Timestamped July 1974. A lavish mansion, masked guests, bodies moving under candlelight. Then, a close-up. Elvis Presley, slouched in an armchair, pale, eyes hollow, next to Melvin Combs. No singing, no laughing, just trapped. The video showed enough to creep everyone out. Faint moaning, movement, a child's voice, then static. Chewy faced the judge. "That's why I'm here. That's the real reason my grandfather died. Not because of a heart attack, but because his heart broke from what they made him be part of. What do you think that black helicopter outside Graceland the night he died was? Now you know." He turned to Diddy. "And you knew because he told you. And instead of ending it, you brought it back." The air got heavy as the prosecution played the footage again, a black and white reel time-stamped July 19th, 1974, labeled White House, Bel Air, California. Not political, just ritzy. Candlelight glowed, not romantic, but creepy, with masked figures in a marble hall. Soft, dark music played, nothing like Elvis's jams. The camera panned to a ballroom. Dozens of people, some seated, some standing, others leading barely dressed folks behind curtains. Then it locked on Elvis, unmistakably him, slouched in a gold-framed chair, sweating, eyes darting like a trapped animal. Melvin sat beside him, laughing, puffing a cigar. He whispered something, and Elvis flinched. "I want everyone to understand," Chewy said as the screen froze on Elvis's face. "That man sitting there is broken. You're not looking at the King of Rock. You're looking at a prisoner." Chewy said the footage was hidden in a Graceland storage room for decades, misfiled among fan reels. He kept it secret but couldn't destroy it. "I wanted us to know the truth someday," he said. The video cut to a dark hallway, a young girl passing the camera, head down. Melvin's voice called her name, then silence. Gasps filled the courtroom. One juror covered her mouth, another looked away. Diddy leaned to his lawyer, whispering like a cornered rat. Elvis didn't just fall apart physically, his spirit collapsed. The man who sang about love, heartbreak, rebellion, he stopped singing on the inside, Chewy said. He was already dead. Elvis tried to break free after a 1976 Palm Springs party with underage folks and big-name guests. He told Priscilla, "I've seen the devil in silk sheets, and he knows my name." Chewy shared journal entries never seen publicly. 3 weeks before his death, Elvis wrote, "They offered me silence in exchange for peace. But peace isn't peace. When you've seen what I've seen, they have footage, they have files, they own the people who write the news. I can't fight them, but maybe one day my blood will." Chewy said Elvis leaned on drugs not to party but to forget, trapped by execs, government pals, and moguls who became his jailers. He couldn't go public. Tabloids were tied to the machine. If he spoke, they'd spin or bury it. Then Chewy dropped a chilling detail. The week before he died, Elvis told a family member, "If anything happens to me, don't believe the headlines and don't trust anyone in a tailored suit." On August 16th, 1977, Elvis was found dead, ruled a heart attack from drug use. Chewy wasn't buying it. He wasn't killed with a weapon. He was killed with fear, with silence, and with the weight of secrets too heavy to carry. He paused. They didn't just kill a man. They killed a witness. Decades later, Chewy thought the nightmare died with Elvis until 2022, when a music producer DM'd him about an exclusive LA event. He realized it was the same property. "I was handed a drink I never asked for," Chewy said. Escorts whispered about the gold room upstairs. Then he saw Diddy, holding court like royalty, eyes scanning like he owned every soul. What happened next floored the courtroom. Chewy saw Diddy grab a young man, barely legal, by the arm, pulling him toward a hallway. The boy looked terrified, Chewy said. It wasn't a handshake. It wasn't mentorship. It was control. Chewy stepped in, told Diddy to back off. Diddy snapped, "You don't know what you're stepping into." Chewy fired back, "You're stepping into the same hell my grandfather did, and I'm not going to let you do it again." The room went quiet. Chewy said Diddy got in his face, so he decked him. One punch, Diddy dropped. People screamed. His security didn't touch me. They just looked scared, Chewy said. He walked out, no charges filed, but the message was clear. "I wasn't Elvis," he told the court. "I wasn't going to die with the secret." He glared at Diddy, now visibly rattled. "You should have known that blood remembers, and mine never forgot." After the punch, Chewy thought it was over. Nope, The machine that protected Diddy, the same one that crushed Elvis, was still kicking. I woke up to 5 missed calls from unknown numbers, Chewy said. Then DMs saying, "You messed up and you should have kept your mouth shut." He laughed it off at first, but within 72 hours, it got real. His car was trashed. A family member got a fake hospital call claiming he'd died. "They weren't trying to kill me," Chewy said. "They were trying to make me kill myself, just like they did to my grandfather." He connected the dots. The party property was in Diddy's trust, the phone-snatching assistant tied to Diddy's event team. The party wasn't spontaneous. It was a ritual, Chewy said, a continuation of something older, sicker. What broke him was a voicemail he found in Graceland's archives, an unlabeled cassette of Elvis, voice broken. "If something happens to me, don't let them rewrite it. Don't let them say it was pills or weakness. They wore me down. They cornered me with cameras, with secrets, and Melvin, he said one day his boy would take the throne, and I'd be a footnote." That tape crushed Chewy, but fueled him. "They killed his legacy with lies, but they won't do it to me," he said. He called his lawyers, hit up prosecutors, and when they offered him a chance to testify, he said yes. Not as a celeb, not a victim, but a witness to a decades-old system. As Chewy wrapped up, the judge let him make a final statement. What he did wasn't just testimony, it was history. He pulled out a sealed envelope with a private investigator's transcript, detailing witness accounts, unreleased footage logs, and texts from Diddy's team about containing the Chewy situation. He read one line: "If this kid connects Elvis to the original Freakoff blueprint, we're all fucked. He needs to be silenced, discredited, ruined." The courtroom gasped. One juror muttered, "Oh my God." Chewy turned to Diddy. "You didn't just inherit your father's fortune. You inherited his evil." Then the biggest bomb. In Graceland's archives, Chewy found a 1975 envelope addressed to the FBI, listing names Elvis claimed attended Melvin's Freakoffs: Clive Davis, Quincy Jones, Russell Simmons, and at the bottom, in pen, Melvin said one day his son would run the entire empire. Chewy handed over the letter, verified handwriting, postmarked, never mailed. He showed one last piece, a black and white photo of a 9-year-old Diddy in the same Bel Air mansion hallway from the 1974 video. He wasn't just continuing the legacy, Chewy said. Okay, he was raised in it. The gallery lost it, reporters bolted, Diddy's lawyers begged to strike it, but it was too late. The world saw it. As Chewy turned to leave, Diddy finally looked up. Their eyes locked. No words, but everything was clear. Chewy gave him a final glance, not angry, not smug, just the look of a man who'd carried a bloodline's pain and let it roar. He walked out into a mob of reporters, mics, and cameras, but kept moving, whispering, "What easy, Granddad? We said what needed to be said." Inside, Diddy sat like a ghost in a suit, surrounded by lawyers, but alone, 'cause for once, the truth was louder than him. Outside, the world went nuts. Camera shutters snapping like gunfire, news anchors yelling, protesters waving signs, "Protect the truth," and "Justice for Elvis." Chewy didn't stop to talk, just kept walking like he'd said his piece. Reporters scrambled, some asking if this would flip the industry, others wondering how deep the rot went. Inside, Diddy's lawyers whispered, spun, but it was pointless. No PR could erase the image of Elvis's grandson, accusing hip-hop's biggest mogul of carrying a legacy of evil. Back at Graceland, Chewy's family waited. He'd shown them the tapes, letters, voicemails, but when he walked through that door, they got it. He didn't just defend Elvis's name, he freed it from decades of lies. That night, Chewy stood in Elvis's music room, hand on the baby grand his grandpa played during sleepless nights. He lit a candle, one flame for closure, and whispered, "They didn't erase you, Granddad. They just hit pause. And today, I pressed play." Behind him, a photo of Elvis smiled. No longer a ghost, but a legend finally heard. Sub to Stranger Crime for more fire, new drops every day. Hit that like, share this, and let's keep it real. Stay safe, stay curious. Catch you next time.